What up? It's your boy Killah B, the goddamn witch finder general. You got a witch, I'll burn their ass up.
Yeah. Shoot. Without JN, I'm nothing. So I guess nothing is coming after JN. Nothing. J is in, you dig? All praise to Yah. He is a God. Work these things bubbles. Never was your big cats be catch up brain. Viewing the slain. Acid rain cult leaders who do vids about their features. Preachers who profess no preacher. Bleach report. Y'all be conjuring demons thinking you curse. Bubble burst. The Torah night hearse. Damn blast. To me with the crew of Fati, just sheep with nine spinning in their brain, hypnotized dead, Britney and K fed. What kind of man says men fantasize about it? Oh, what an outing! Down low brothers with baby shouting, mind control puppets when they Satan handler. They Lucy be a Springfield chandelier. Campers beware, the wolves are out. They think they got you, with crying and pout. Drought in their brains like the desert of Sinai. Jeet Kune style, I don't do it, the ledges fly. Seismic activity collapse your beach. Pagodas and wooden structures discovered underneath. Think about Tsunami Jimmy, but the streams, you label infinity. Disseminate judgment like icicles. The mind open up too late for tear trickle. Visual proof of your leader's folly. You're playing more games than Molly. It's a rocky road waking up from abuse. Yet you can't change those who want to remain aloof. Even chant Baffy me. The tag fool thinking Tharawah's a book. They forgot to swim and bit the hook. Tharawah is within, as God is changing your heart. Mercy upon those who you put in the cart on the chart to purchase your mind. Who am I to argue with wisdom design? Freedom to write and recite. Turn the devil day and the night. Look how this word smite. Lift they face up bright. Ain't up by their own might. So interesting to the sight. It's a page turner. Demons branded with the J-in burner. When J-in, you out. It'll learn you. Scorn teachers run for the hills. Then the hills cough them up, no frills. I get chills thinking about your house sinking beneath. All because you became more Cain than beast. Or more beast than Cain. Where that beast call you by government name. Slain firstborns, even to my own self born. Bought the farm, the one that connives wrong. Smoke y'all when the aroma enters zone. Niggas be walking with their downfall in their hands. She walk with you while you play in the sand. Claiming nothing but old man. Troubled life more than Gary Coleman. Damn. Let them coals light up into embers. Nebuchadnezzar destroy your temple so you can remember volumes of witnesses against you. Pyrite holding more yoga positions than Hindu. It's the return of Vishnu to end you. Who use stones to tempt you. Chalk this up to a misused pimp move. Blade rip you. Whole time Josh remain blissful. Crazy y'all with no dismissal. Use another dismissal to end. Let this fire quench you. Same way it quench you. Motto is simple. Wish death upon fam. Catch holy mental. Bombarded by shrapnel. Have doctor removed. Piece by piece with scalpel. Then when you rest, ninja come through and scalp you. All over tough talk. Vengeance is mine, says Yah. Hear the wings of the tomahawk. Hear the wings of the tomahawk. Cats be yoked up with two rings. Hear them rings. Ring, 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 ring. Yeah. I know. That means you never did that, right? Never thanking Yahweh for it, you know. All praises to Yahweh. Yeah. For always being active, not stagnant, not finding some box. Some book for being ever present. I mean, what do you expect? Yahweh is Yahweh. Yo, big up to all those who stand against wickedness, who expose crookedness, who look and seek for righteousness from mature adults, right? Don't be mad when the tables turn, like Grandmaster Flash. Dead. Your brother Jock. Judah gotta know, cats is Hasbro. Move your toe, see your soul, fly out the window. Versus Winslows, catapult the mind beyond icicles. Land in Japan, where it trickles. The nickels catch they prey, seemingly, battingly, through gaze. At bays, perfect the day. Watch Ashkenaz to Nazareth fade. Clad in nights, his sleep pervades. Sleigh bells ring up top. Everglades. Judah gotta know, cats is Hasbro. Move your toe and see a soul. Fly out the window, versus Winslow. Catapult the mind beyond icicles. Land in Japan, where it trickles. The nickels catch they prey, seemingly, maddeningly through gaze. At bays, perfect the day. Watch Ashkenaz the Nazareth fade. Clad in nights, his sleep pervades. Sleigh bells ring up top to Everglades.
Yeah, man, your boy Killah Beat out there with finding dinner all up in this motherfucking live. Chris Harris, what up, P? Right on time, right on time.
What's good? What's good? What's cracking? What's cracking?
Really, man.
Same old lies I'm dealing with. Same old bullshit. Trying to wake the people up. They want to stay asleep. Got motherfucking these crazy ass Negro lights just coming up with nonsense to keep this shit going instead of just telling the truth. They just can't do it.
Yup.
They just can't do it. I don't understand. And for the life of me, I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't understand it either, yo. Back and forth, back and forth. It is like they just said like that one thing, like in the movie. Yeah. It says in the records. I'm like, what records? He's like, slave records. I'm like, what? So you told me the slave records say, yo, you're talking about the different works, man.
Man, let me tell you something. And them slave records is not taught with because they see the name Yah at the end, okay? That's the name of an Akan god, and that's the female principle of that deity. All right? All you got to do is look up the name of the god they worship. It has nothing to do with Yahweh. And I'm all like, yo, we got to put this. It's like we got to wake up. Like, I am like dead serious. Like, we are behind the 8 ball, and we are failing at this shit. You know what I'm saying? They're going to start exterminating us, and it's going to be motherfuckers saying, see, y'all, God said this would happen. I'm telling you, this stuff is just getting off the chain. You got these people just, oh, my God. Earlier today, I'm over there on Solar Vision, and Yara pseudo ass start talking like he always do. Y'all ain't going to believe what he told me. He told me, they asked me, was the Bible a book of fairy tales? And he said, I will murk Chris Harris on that book in that debate and all this. I said, well, let's put it like this. I believe the whole book is a book of fairy tales. None of it is real. I don't give any credence to any of it. And it's all fake. And it starts off with Adam and Eve, 2 fictional characters, right? And from Adam and Eve, in Genesis chapter 3, you get the story of Noah, who hops on a fictional boat. And off this fictional boat comes his 3 sons. And his 3 sons, who are fictional, that come out of a mountain called Mount Ararat over there in Turkey, they get off the damn boat, and they have a bunch of fictional children. And one of them just happened to be Eber. And from Eber, you get Abraham and all of that other bullshit. Now, Abraham is a fictional character who had 2 fictional sons, one named Isaac, the other one named Jacob. Now Jacob is given a promise by this fictional deity by the name of Yahweh, the Most Low. And guess what he does? Tells Jacob that all the nations, you're gonna be as abundant as the stars. Now this story sounds familiar. God sitting in a fucking tent, men making tents, boats and all this. Sounds like the Gilgamesh and the epic of the Ugaritic tales that you find with Baal. But we're neither going to go here nor there because they'll say, oh, no, you got it all wrong. We're always wrong. And they're always right. Because, Israelites, they have a what? They have a monopoly on spirituality, right? So let's continue with this fictional lineage, with these fictional people in a fictional land called fictional Israel that never existed because there are no artifacts made by the creators of Israel. There are none. You don't get it until the Maccabean period, and that's around the 3rd century BCE, the 3rd century, right? And that was all what we call the Grecian period. But I've digressed. So you get this fictional genealogy. And from this fictional genealogy, you get David and the rest of these kings of Israel where you can't find any of the graves. But yet you can find Cyrus, Ramses, and all these other graves. But yet you cannot find nothing, and I mean nothing, that has the concern of Israel and their patriarchs. Nothing. So it's fictional. And it's fictional because the story starts off fictional with a talking snake and a flaming sword. And it continues to get fictional with a story of Noah and his fictional 3 sons that come out of the mountains. Now let's just go with what Yara said. When he asked me about that, I said the story is fictional because it's based on fictional characters. Just that simple.
Don't forget
And
that.
when I asked him, say what?
Dinosaurs are in the Bible.
Yeah. And when I asked him one question, I said, was Noah real? He said, you find flood, this one, you find flood stories all over the world. I said, these flood stories are nothing but myths. Okay. And if you want to say Noah's story is real, you're going to have to admit that you got stories that are older than that of Noah's Ark, right? You can't sit up there and say no, they were inspired by Noah's Ark because these stories are over 3,000 years older than Noah's Ark. Now, this is where it gets good at. This is where it gets good. I asked him one question. Are we from Mount Ararat, Turkey? He said, it doesn't say the boat landed in Mount Ararat. I said, dude, he said, it landed in the region. I said, man, let me read this right quick. And it said on the 7th day of the 17th day of the month, the boat landed in Mount Ararat. That's what it say. So why would you go off and lie like that? And then I guess you know how the Israelites get when they caught. What's the first thing they do? They get to crying and hollering out, "Fuck you, bitch! We gonna get you!" All this other stuff. Ain't nothing gonna happen because your most low only kills his own people. I am not in a blood covenant with your most low, and I don't need your most low because your most low's only plan was the best plan he had to save man was to kill his own damn son. Now, what kind of shit is that? One more time, y'all fall for this book, and when you look at Egyptian texts, these stories already were in there, most of them anyway. The story of Jacob and Esau is nothing but a copy and a mockery of the story of Haru and Set. It's just that simple. Then y'all try to say that Esau is the white man. Well, it doesn't say anywhere in here that he's white. Red don't mean white last time I checked. And you know who else was red, who was hated or disliked? Set. He was red and disliked, and he was hairy because he was a goat. He was depicted in a lot of his pictures as a goat, red and hairy. So there y'all go right there. Some truth for your ass. Go look into those things for yourself. Don't bore me.
Oh, damn. What they gonna do now? They'll sit there and just lie and just circle argument and shit all around fucking. Oh, damn. They don't
lies and lies.
Yeah, they don't explain nothing they're saying. Then he starts saying any old thing. What was that guy last night was talking about?
Who's that?
Like similarities or something like that. I forgot what it was. I forgot the details.
What in the book?
No, in the group, the scholarship, the Hollership group.
Oh no no no! I was. Oh yeah, okay. So we were in there, and this one guy, what they were doing over there in my chat, and I have a group. Everybody should go join it. It's called Scholarship over Hollership. And most of you get Israelites coming in here with their fake pseudo information that they don't understand, nor do they comprehend what they're reading. So what they did was, what this one gentleman was doing was he was talking about Jesus, right? So I said, this story is told, Jesus' story is told throughout many different cultures, right? But let's just start with Egypt, since that's where it come from. So I showed him some things in Egypt, like the story of Haru. I showed him some of the miracles that Haru did. They mirror Jesus' story easy. He then runs to a hieroglyph on the wall of, I guess, Osset sitting on top of Asar's phallus. And it says they having sex right here. Where nowhere in that picture is it saying that they're having sex or even mimicking sex. So what they did was they went to a netter and a hieroglyph or Madut netter and tried to say, see right here, she having sex with him. No, that's not her having sex with him. You understand what I'm saying? That's just something that they do to get you to think that their story is not stolen. You see what I'm saying? So as I'm listening to it, hold on, let me finish up. So as I'm showing him and giving him all this stuff, and I gave him the real story of Asar and Aset, and how Asar impregnated her before they could consummate the marriage. That's the first thing I did show before, so because she was crying because they did not have sex, right? That was the point of me showing that. So one guy starts bringing up Ecclesiastes 1:9. He said, I heard you quote this, since you quoted it, do you agree with it? I said, this is found in many Egyptian texts. Show it to me. And I said, now, first of all, how did we get on Ecclesiastes 1:9? This is y'all creating red herring arguments. This has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, right? And if I do show it to you, you're not going to listen any goddamn way. So why waste my time?
That appears in more than the Egyptian text too. Like a couple different other types of people have the same story also.
Exactly. So I said sun gods are known all over the world because sun gods are symbolic of what? The sun. It's just that simple. It's not an argument. This shit ain't even up for debate with me sometimes. I'm just all like, look, man, I don't like talking about it because you guys are wasting my time. You're wasting my breath. And you're wasting your own life thinking some crack in the sky gonna come and save you. Okay? And like y'all need and stop trying to say that he's black. Nowhere in the Bible does it describe any Jews as being black. Don't go to that Jeremiah, I'm black unto the ground. That ain't what that's talking about. They are in a lowly state, and black is symbolic of the state they're in, not who they were as a people. That is not an identity, okay? Do not go to the story of Job, where Job is talking about my skin is black upon me. That's not what the fuck that is talking about. Once again, this is the state that he's in. Okay, so can y'all please stop teaching this bullshit? All right, this book has nothing to do with us. Deuteronomy 28, verse 68 is not, quote, end quote, identity. It has nothing to do with identity. I can read Deuteronomy 28 to y'all and show y'all. It clearly says the Lord will pluck you up from off the ground where you stand, not West Africa. All right, and these hermetics that these Israelites use, these crazy motherfuckers be using, it's something to marvel at. They will take part of a scripture, run to another scripture, and formulate a goddamn doctrine right there on the spot. Now, if that ain't the worst form of hermetics I've ever seen, I don't know what is. But you know what? We're their huckleberries. We don't say anything about it. We don't say anything when they're taking 30% tithes from people. We just laugh at the people who's suffering from these damn jerks.
Suffering. Yo, this was crazy, yo. It be like this consuming motherfucker. That shit really consuming people.
Hell yeah, it consumes
His
them.
whole lives is absorbed into that shit.
And I literally be looking at them like, you know, you can go live your life, right?
Everything, everything. It's like playing a lotto and shit. They're trying to hit the number. Like, know what I mean? They're trying to hit the number. So they just keep giving and giving and giving and giving to the church. The church can take it.
Yeah, man.
Take it. And they didn't teach them some bull. They were saying some more bullshit. So you know, like in a Christian, they be singing that shit to you. They be singing that shit to you. Taking the money.
Yeah. Who we got up in the chat with us tonight?
Yeah, Sister P up there.
Hey, Sister P, how are you? Hope you feeling better.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna jump on. I'm gonna call Wise the solid servant out. I gotta call him out. Like, yo, man, I can't believe what you on here teaching, and people falling for it. I gotta call you out on that,
Nothing.
man. You know what I'm saying? Pretty sure he's a nice guy and all, man. But if you say you're gonna teach something, start teaching.
Yeah, it's like real slick how he does it. That's just bugged out.
25,000
Like
sitting in his damn bank account. Shit.
it's like everybody waiting for that one video that's gonna explain something. And it
Right.
never comes. And it never comes.
Talking about he gonna give people the secret keys of life. Yeah, get a job, make some money. That's the secret key.
Yeah, right.
Oh, by the way, that's a dope ass album, Songs in the Key of Life. Old
Got his
Stevie
whole
Wonder album. All is fair in love. Woo, sing it, daddy. So it's been cracking, Killer B.
not much, man. Glad to be back on here. I took a little break.
Oh, that's right. Your channel, somebody gave your channel a strike, didn't they?
Nah, nah. I just took a break.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I was good. I did a couple days ago. I did one. So I got on in the hood. I thought I took it down. But, what about Judah Nazareth? Did he have a debate? Did he win?
Yeah, he debating over. Yeah, he debating some Egyptology nut bag on was the black woman God. I'm all like, now why is these people still debating this? Like, yeah, she is, but we're not saying when they say that or when that was being said, it's not saying that she is the creator. It's just saying that's just a form of reverence to her. You know what I'm saying? Like Africans, we don't think like some earthly God. Like, man, we way in the next galaxy somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what you got when you're dealing with these guys. So, yeah, he over there debating some Egypt nut. You know what I'm saying? And we're not talking about the spiritual part of it. It's just that he can go to the city of Detroit and say, I'm in Egypt.
I was watching some shit today on YouTube, right? And it was these Nigerian dudes, right? They practice voodoo and they get wild animals, shit, and like tame those motherfuckers, like straight up wild up in the jungle. They had hyenas and everything, like wild hyenas. They riding on them like a horse. And they just
Talking about
they got like a circus kind of thing. Got baboons picking up cobras. Yo, it's
Damn.
crazy. The dude straight up opened up the hyena's mouth. Yo. Like a hyena, you can tell the hyena crazy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a wild animal.
Hey, I don't want nothing to do with none of them crazy ass hyenas. They get a hold of your damn
Yeah.
hand. That's it. They kill.
You know how like animal got fangs? They got like levels of fangs. Like,
Yeah, all throughout their
they
mouth.
got
That shit
fangs.
look.
Like, yeah. That's crazy. They're called the Nigerian hyena gangs. They
What?
teach the babies cobras. They teach the babies to play with cobras.
Damn.
Crazy. Hyena gangs. Nigeria. They practice voodoo and they say the magic and shit. Have it so like the animals don't fuck with.
You know, I've been catching myself doing that a lot, kicking it in the wildlife and shit. I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but I've been catching myself hanging out like that a lot.
Around with the damn alligators and shit.
Shit, I see one of them motherfuckers. I'm going the other way. Fuck what you talking about? Hell yeah. Shit, what's going on with me and you and Mikael? Y'all gonna work that out or what?
Nah, he didn't say shit. He blocked me. He blocked me right after he said that shit.
That's crazy. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Let me use the bathroom. Hold it down for me. Let me use the bathroom.
Yeah, let me show y'all this shit, yo. Look, check this shit out. See that shit? Riding a hyena. Y'all can go. Well, look, the nigga riding a hyena. I ain't bullshit. Look, nigga riding a hyena. Wait, I gotta get rid of this one. There you go. That nigga riding a hyena. Look. Look at that shit. Look at that motherfucker. This shit'll fuck you up. That boom, like, goddamn, bitch, that's a cobra. Fucking give me that shit for us. That's why I take this motherfucker. Oh shit. Like, God It's gonna be a cold. None of y'all my friend. Look at that big ass hyena. Damn. See? Y'all want to go to fucking Africa? Y'all? Let the baboons have the train. I just fuck them up and shit till they listen. That shit crazy, yo. Y'all see that shit? That shit crazy.
You.
Yeah, look, Chris. See that shit?
What you talking about?
The goddamn hyena.
Oh yeah. I saw that. Yeah. Pet that motherfucker the
That
wrong way.
shit
He
crazy.
rip your damn hand off.
Yeah. African motherfuckers know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the dude said what he said, all that shit. Information wasn't right. Everybody's telling him the shit ain't right. And the dude wanted to repent of the shit. He kept it going. He pulled another one. He pulled another video. And he got the same results. And still with it. That's shit crazy.
Yeah, man. It's just
They call themselves elders. They call themselves elders, priests, and all types of shit like that. That's just ridiculous. That you go and do some shit like
you know what? Since I'm in a good mood, this is what we gonna do. Okay? Let's get a screen share going tonight. Let's open up Exodus chapter 14. I'm gonna show y'all the contradictions in Exodus 14. Matter of fact, I'm finna come in through my computer. I'm finna hang up and come in through my computer. Get the link in the chat. I'm finna show everybody something. Who?
that.
True talk, I recognize true talk, I never lie. The second I'm proved wrong is the day the devil will cool off in temperature. In hell it be lukewarm, my temper is short like your attention span. Can't quite remember what you were offended at. My parents have no idea that I made a new friend in my detention class. His name is Tuesday, and he claims to be the...
That it would have took like 9 days to cross the Red Sea on foot, like where all the water split open. It would have took them 9 days to cross that shit. Actually, no, not the Red Sea, the Reed Sea. That shit was easy. Let me look this shit up. I think it was 9 days or something. But it's like 221 miles across. And 1,400 miles. Like, that's a long way. And they said that, like, they saw the Egyptians. Pharaoh approached the Israelites, looked up. King of Egypt was told that the people had fled. Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds about him and said, "What have we done? We have let the Israelites go and have lost their servants." So they had, so where you have all these missing people in your house and shit. You need something to eat and shit. The motherfuckers ain't cooked nothing. There's nobody there. But so he had his chariot made ready and took his army with him. He took 600 of the best chariots along, but all the livestock supposed to be there, along with all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all. The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, so that he pursued the Israelites who were marching out boldly. Oh shit. My bad, yo.
All right, so this is what we gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna put a screen share up real quick. So I want everybody to follow along with me on this. All right, let me just get Exodus 14 up real quick. All right, Exodus chapter 14. I'm gonna show y'all the contradictions in the narrative contradictions in this text that exist, but you got to study a little harder. All right, can you see the screen, Killah?
I got it up right now. Yep.
All right, so I'm about to start reading. Okay, so I want everybody to pay attention to Exodus chapter 14. And it says, "And the Lord spoke again unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel that they may turn and encamp before Hiroth, between Megiddo and the sea, over against Baal Zephon, before it shall ye encamp by the sea." It says, so before it you shall encamp by the sea. This is context. Watch this. "For the Pharaoh will say to the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land, the wilderness have shut them in. And I will harden the Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them. And I will be honored upon the Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord." And they did so. "And it was told that the king of Egypt that the people fled. And the heart of the Pharaoh and his servants was turned against the people. And they said, Why have we done this, that we have let the children of Israel go from serving us? And he made ready his chariot and took his people with him. And he took 600 chosen chariots and all the chariots of Egypt and the captains over every one of them." Now there's a problem with this right here, because according to Exodus chapter 7 through 12, all the horses were killed, and all the cattle were killed, but that's not what I want to show. All right, and it says, "And he took 600 chosen chariots and all the chariots of Egypt and the captains over every one of them." Watch this. "And the Lord hardened the heart of the Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued the children of Israel, and the children of Israel went out with a high hand." Now let's stop there for a minute, and let's pay attention to the context of verses 1 through 7. And we must use deductive reasoning and critical thinking to understand the contradictions that are being placed right here in these first 6 verses. Now, it clearly tells you that the Most High God of Israel tells the children of Israel to encamp before Hiroth, between Megiddo and the sea, over against Baal Zephon. Before it you shall encamp by the sea. For the Pharaoh will say to the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land, the wilderness have shut them in. And it says, I will harden the Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them, and I will be honored upon Pharaoh and all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. Pay attention, because I'm rereading this to you. And it was told that the king of the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? Now, first thing you have to understand right here is he already made up his mind to go after them. God, or the God, Israel hadn't even hardened his heart yet to do it. He didn't harden his heart until after he hopped on those chariots. It says right here in verse 7, and he took 600 chariots and all the chariots of Egypt and the captains over every one of them. So he made this decision on his own. Now watch this. In verse 8, he says, and the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued the children of Israel. There's a contradiction. Some of this stuff does not have any narrative purpose to the what's being presented here. The Pharaoh made the decision on his own, but Yahweh said, I'm going to harden his heart. But that's only after the Pharaoh has already made the decision to pursue after them, right? Let's see where else it gets deeper at. And the Lord hardened Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel, and the children of Israel went out with a high hand. But the Egyptians pursued after them. All the horses and all the chariots of the Pharaoh and his horsemen and his army overtook them encamping by the sea. Game over right there. B, did you catch that? Did you catch what I just read to you? Can you hear me?
That they overtook? Yeah.
They already overtook them, right? Ain't that what it say?
Yeah, it does say that. I'm looking at it now.
Game over right here.
And overtook them as they camped by the sea.
Where were they at? They were encamping by the sea beside Fiharoth and before Baal Zephon. Watch this. And now watch this in verse 10, how it recontradicts itself. In verse 10, it says, and when Pharaoh drew near, wait a minute, it just says you overtook them encamping by the sea. And then in verse 10, it says, and Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, wait a minute, it said they cried out unto the Lord, Yahweh. Now, in verse 11, it tells you, and they said unto Moses, but that's not my point. I want to show y'all just the contradictions. It says, and they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, you have taken us away to die in the wilderness. Wherefore thou hast dealt with us to carry us forth out of Egypt. Is it not the word that we will tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than we should die in the wilderness. Now, I want y'all to hear all this back and forth going on here. They were already overtook. They cried to the Lord, but yet they're talking to Moses. Y'all want to know what this really is right here? This is a story of God people praying to a God. Moses is God right here. Y'all didn't catch that. It said, and they cried unto the Lord, and they said unto Moses. So now we see Moses here is a deity. But that's not my point. Okay, because I want y'all to use critical thinking. It said, because there were, let's go back to verse 13. And is this not the word that we did tell you in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians, for it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians, that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, fear you not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Now that's a contradiction right here, because in verse 10 and verse 10 and verse 10 and verse 11, the people lifted up their voices and cried unto the Lord. And the only one speaking is Moses. Right now, we know Moses is the voice of God to these people. So they're crying unto God and Moses is talking. Fine. But I want y'all to continue to pay attention. And Moses said to the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of Yahweh, which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you shall have seen today, you shall see them again no more forever. Okay. The Lord shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. And then the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest unto me? He's questioning him here. He's questioning him. What you crying unto me for? There's a question mark here. Watch this. Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. But lift up thy rod and stretch out thy hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. So here it is. God is questioning him. Why are you crying unto me? Right? Well, they're afraid, but he act like he don't know why they're crying unto him. Right? Or maybe he's being sarcastic, right? But why does a deity need to be sarcastic? He already knows what they're thinking. But let's just continue. And the Lord said unto, verse 16, but lift up your rod and stretch out thy hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. Now, does it say that they're going to go through the sea? That's what it says. Verse 17. And behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians that they shall follow them. Well, wait a minute. They already overtook them in verse number, where they overtake them at? They already overtook the children of Israel in verse, they already overtook them in verse 9. So why is he still following them? Now watch this. Verse 10, it says they drew near. The Pharaoh drew near. But now in verse 16, it says, but lift up thy rod and thy hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I, behold, will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them. This is a contradiction. And I will get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, upon his chariots and upon his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am God, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen. Watch this now. And the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. Now we have another problem, because now the angel is separating the children of Israel and the damn Pharaoh and his army when he already overtook them in verse 9. Not to mention, they're already marched into the sea. Y'all ain't been reading this. Watch this. And the Lord said unto Moses, hold on. Let me go back down. Here it is in verse 19. And the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud went from behind before their face and stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. And it was a clamp of darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. That's weird, right? So now it's nighttime. Okay. They're saying this is what this cloud did for them at nighttime. Excuse me. Verse 21, and Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the dry land, and the waters were divided. Pause. Let's go back up. In verse 14, it says, watch this. Verse 15, and the Lord said unto Moses, why are you crying to me? Speak to the children of Israel that they may go forward. Lift up thy rod, stretch out thy hand over the sea, and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. They're already moving towards it. He's already done it. But now, here in verse 20, it's saying what? And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. Okay, so let's play this game. Maybe this is just explaining what Moses had to do, right? Maybe this is just explaining what Moses had to do in the way it really happened. We'll play this game, but it gets even worse from here. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. But that's not what he told him to do up here in what's it called? In verse 16, he said, lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. Y'all see the repetitive nature that's going on here? I'm trying to get y'all to think critically here. What's going on in this story? I'm going to show y'all when I'm done reading. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. Let's keep moving. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all the Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. What happened to the angel that was dividing them? What happened to it? Let's keep going. And all the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all the Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and horsemen. Verse 24. And it came to pass that in the morning watch, the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. Pause. How they marched through it to get to the Israelites. Y'all got to ask yourself this question. Hole in the story, but let's continue on. And took off their chariot wheels, that they drove them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. I'm confused. So I guess they're turning around, going back the other way now, while they're in the middle of the sea. But it said earlier in this chapter that the Egyptians were blocked by this pillar cloud of smoke and fire, by this angel. But now all of a sudden they're pursuing the Israelites. He said he put that angel came there to pursue, to block them from coming in there. But watch this. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared. And the Egyptians fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of the Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right and on their left. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw the great work that the Lord did upon the Egyptians, and the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord, his servant Moses. Can I please get an Israelite in here so I can ask him some questions about this? Because this story contradicts itself like 5 or 6 times.
That's right.
It's a clear contradiction. Who we got in here?
Lamad.
What's up, Lamad?
What's up, man?
It's a clear contradiction.
I'm looking for the scripture where it says that there was a plague and it killed all of the cattle, right?
Yeah. Let's go to Exodus chapter 9.
Oh, okay. Exodus chapter 9. Then the Lord said unto Moses, go unto Pharaoh and tell him, thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, let my people go, that he may serve me. For if thou refuse to let them go, and thou wilt hold them still. Behold, the hand of the Lord is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous, pestilence, murrain. And the Lord shall sever between, sorry, and the Lord shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and there shall nothing die of all that is in the children of Israel. And the Lord appointed a set time, saying, Tomorrow the Lord shall do this thing in the land. And the Lord did that thing on the morrow, and all the cattle of Egypt died. All the cattle of Egypt died, but of the cattle of the children of Israel died not one. And Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go.
Okay, so let's stop there. Did it say it killed some of the animals?
Nope, it said all.
It said all.
Yep.
So what the fuck was the Pharaoh chasing these Israelites in? Was he chasing them in a
This was
goddamn
what
Trans
happened.
Am?
The cattle died, and then the ghosts of the cattle came back, and they were riding on the ghosts of the cattle. That's what happened.
But it gets worse, Lamar. It gets worse. It gets worse. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. It gets worse. What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna say, watch this. In verse 10, it says, and I'm gonna start at verse 9. I'm starting at verse 8. It says, and the Lord
wait, hold on. I you know what? I have to say this. The Pharaoh was riding on the angel of death.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, now it gets worse with the contradictions in the Exodus narrative because I got a debate coming up on this. I don't want to give too much away, but I can if I want to because there's no way around this. In verse 8, it starts off as it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, hold on, let me pull it up because I like to do this. I like okay, let's go to Exodus chapter 9. Exodus chapter 9. And let me get a screen share up again, bro. All right. So we're gonna do this real quick. Exodus chapter 9, right? Now in Exodus chapter 9, it says, we read where he killed all the animals off. And Captain Tazariak said cattle mean food, so he killed all the food off. Okay, and people believe that shit because they're indoctrinated. But in Exodus chapter 9, it says, I'm gonna start at verse 8. And the Lord said unto Moses, this is another plague coming up. And the Lord said unto Moses and unto Aaron, take 2 handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it towards the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh. And it shall become small dust in the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast throughout all the land of Egypt. Okay. And verse 10, and they took the ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses sprinkled it up towards heaven, and it became a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and beast. Okay, so let's wait a goddamn minute here. I thought you killed all the goddamn animals. There would be none left to kill. There would be no boils on nothing, as if those animals could survive all the other shit that happened before that.
Right.
This right here, my friends, is called redundancy and lies. It's clearly written in mythological format.
Yeah, let me get that again. Exodus chapter 9, verse 6. And the Lord did that thing on the morrow, and all the cattle, not some, it says, and all the cattle of Egypt died.
That's what it says. And watch this. I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna come on down to verse. I'm gonna go back down 14, verse 14. I'm gonna start at 13 for proper context. And it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before the Pharaoh and say unto him, thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, let my people go that they may serve me. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon the heart and upon thy servants and upon thy people, that you may know us that there is none like me in all the earth. For now I will stretch out my hand, and that I might smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and they shall be cut off from the earth. And in very deed, for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. Okay. Yahweh plays on episodes of Ghetto Gaggers. That's how I feel about it. Excuse me. This is bullshit. Okay. It doesn't, just listen. As yet exaltest thou thyself against my people, that thou wilt not let them go. Behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as hath not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even until now. Watch this. Send therefore now and gather your cattle. I thought you killed them all. Gather your cattle and all that you have in the field, for every man and beast which shall be found in the field and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them and they shall die. There should be no more cattle left. You killed them all, I thought, in verse 9. What's wrong? What's wrong? Cat got their tongue now? Can we get some Hebrews in here that want to argue about this? Who want to talk about this? Break it down in the Hebrew. Because I know that's what y'all gonna try and use that shit to try and prove it when that ain't nothing but hermetics, and I'll destroy that easy too. See, I don't have to debate you on the historicity of the Exodus, because according to your damn Bible, there was no Exodus, because all this shit ain't happening. All the animals is dead. Ain't nobody chasing nobody.
That is crazy. I know. I see what you're saying. Like that. What could that? You could call that shit. Like there got to be something for that, like a name for that.
I'm gonna tell you. This is what's going on here. In Exodus 14, there are 2 exoduses going on. I thought y'all was gonna notice that. There's 2. A writer clearly redacted it and merged these texts together. That's why you have so much redundancy in Exodus 14. How did the Pharaoh get past the angel to chase them into the damn water when it said that that angel put a wall up over them? That was the first contradiction right there. Then it said in verse 9, he overtook them already. So if he overtook them, when he overtook them, that's why they started complaining. And they was bitching at Moses' ass like, yo, you finna get us killed. We out of here. They was mad. They were already overtaken.
Lamont, you got anything for that?
Man, look, as far as finding the contradictions, yeah, it's important to examine these things, because a lot of these camps are into book worship. I mean, they want to hold up the Bible. Okay, I get it. There are principles in here, moral principles that we can learn from. But as far as Bible bashing people, or trying to say that this camp has the truth and all this, like when we get to these contradictions and you start pointing them out to camp leaders or anybody else who's in power or whatever, you're gonna see that they don't want to talk about this stuff. because when you use critical thinking, that's when the tides money gets a little bit thinner. The lights can't get paid because people are starting to think for themselves, opposed to not thinking for yourselves and just putting money in a collection plate. But yeah, that's what I see here. Um, a lot of this text is allegorical, and there's a thing called, well, the law. How the do's and don'ts, and those are pretty much rock solid as far as the way we should live our lives. But as far as being some sort of leader and teaching crowds and herds of people that you have to read this Bible every single day and leave your families, that's where therein lies the problem. You can there there are GMS members out there that's been on YouTube, that's been on the sidewalk since the 2000s, and have they really helped lead the group into a direction of enlightenment? Or like, did you ever see a GMS member just like ascend into heaven or some shit? Like, you know what I mean? I've never seen a GMS member like start levitating towards heaven after Bible bashing crowds of people that walk by with the camera on. So what I appreciate here is the fact that there are problems in the text, and your so-called guru or your camp leader, when you bring this up, two plus two doesn't add up anymore. That's all.
Speaking of gurus, yo, you know what I mean? Like gurus, like real gurus. Like white people, they fuck with the gurus. Their asses go to India and whatnot.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I just think this book,
I'm saying, wow, weird shit. Like, saying they got all types of crazy shit out. You don't got no like crazy Indian people or white people. They have one out here. They have like a few years, not a few years.
like I said, it's just, it can't be taken as history, and I believe the book got a veil on it. It's written with contradictions in it on purpose, so people can see that you're not supposed to take it literal. It wasn't meant to be taken literal.
It repeats the story. Like, it's keep repeating it and giving it a different spin.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I ain't tripping. Like I said, can't nobody get past them contradictions in Exodus 9.
Let's get on the chapter.
Okay, I figured it out. It was a bunch of angels of deaths in the shape of horses, and the Pharaoh and his army got on a bunch of angels of deaths and were pursuing the Israelites after the cattle died.
They'll teach that.
Oh yeah,
they'll start teaching that, and people will believe it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Somebody cussing you out on Facebook and shit. Talking about the angel of death.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Oh. Crazy.
And to the rest of the cast out here listening, I'm a bad motherfucker with this book. I ain't trying to pick it apart. I just read it. And when I use critical thinking, I clearly see it's right there.
That's crazy how you point out that.
And a lot of it is research too. You know what I'm saying? So, look, the new Guilty Gear getting ready to come out.
What you say?
The new Guilty Gear getting ready to come out.
You guilty what?
Yeah. It's a game.
What?
Guilty Gear.
What the fuck is that?
It's a game, a video game.
It's a first person shooter.
No,
Oh,
it's a
nah.
video game.
I'm about to do.
Is it a third person?
No, it's a fighting game.
Guilty Gear. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I was thinking about Gears of War. That's what I was thinking. No, Guilty Gear is a fighting game. Yeah, that game is dope. You got to be clutch. You got to be super clutching in that game.
Yeah.
You think they got an arcade up in heaven?
I hope so one day.
I'm sure they will. And Daytona will be playing.
My boy, before he died of cancer, I remember we used to, I had a boy that died of cancer,
Real
right?
arcade machines?
Nah, I doubt it, because the home console
Like arcade.
just destroyed that market.
Wait, what were you saying about your homeboy?
He me and him used to play Mortal Kombat 1 all the time. And when he had cancer, he had found out he had cancer. He was just all like, man, Chris, I just want to see Mortal Kombat 2 come out. That was his dream. He lived all the way up to Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yep. And he was probably a good person.
Mm-hmm. I remember I asked him, I was like, yo, man, what is wrong with your leg? He was limping. And then, he said, I got cancer in my leg. I was like, damn. And it went from like 2 years to it just got worse. All of a sudden, he was in the bed. So, yeah, good dude. Man, me and he used to play the shit out of that game. Yeah, man.
Shit, it seems like we've been out here 2 hours. Only been an hour ago.
Yeah, it's only been an hour, man.
Ma, you want to do that angel of death thing? Do a tape time.
Yeah, what's going on with that? Yeah, what's going on with that?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm capable of doing a presentation because I'm on a cell phone.
If I got the things that you had sent.
Oh, okay. I mean, okay. Well, you can play the tape of him teaching that, and then we can debunk it if that's how you want to go.
Yeah. We do that.
I wasn't prepared to do a lesson, but I mean, we can just do it.
Like, just talk about it. It's like
okay.
Like,
Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it. Off the top of the dome. We're freestyling. Okay, there was this dude. He's a so-called Israelite teacher. He was pretty much playing tapes of people falling over from the coronavirus. Now, I get it. Things happen in countries, and we don't know these people. We don't know if they were good people. We don't know if they were bad people. Shit happens. I get it. But it's wrong to be like, somebody falling over and hitting their head against a car because they're sick from the coronavirus and going bloop and like making fun of that, because it's like, dude, that is a human being getting fucked up. Pardon my language. So he goes on to talk about This is another coronavirus victim. Ha 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 ha. Another coronavirus victim. Ha 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 ha. And then he says, look, everybody's falling dead and nobody cares. But check this out. There's this entity called the Angel of Death. Oh, Angel of Death, right? And he pulls up Exodus chapter 12. Yeah. Exodus chapter 12, verse, if I'm not mistaken, 27. Sorry for the dead air. And it says that you shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of children of Israel in Egypt, and he smote the Egyptian and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshipped. And so they're saying that there was the spirit that was going around killing the firstborn of the Egyptians was this entity called the Mashakiath. Okay, and then he goes, that's the name of the angel of death. And so that I get like my spider senses tingling, and I'm like, okay, let me do a search on angel of death in the Stones edition, and no scripture comes up. I do that search. The only thing that comes up is Talmud, angel of death, Talmud, angel of death, Talmud, angel of death, Talmud. So then I look up Mashakiath. It doesn't mean angel of death. It just means destroyer. It just means corruption. It means pit. Like, for example, a raid. There's another scripture where there was a raiding party. A raider or a pillager. That's all that means. There is no angel of death. This is what people do to scare people. A lot of people don't read the Bible or they don't study anything, and they want people to do the studying for them. So they listen to somebody that they like on YouTube, and then he can just usurp your mind and say, "Yeah, angel of death. Coronavirus is going to be on all you camps. Follow me. I'm learned. I know Hebrew. Oh, it's not Hebrew. It's the Yahwadoth language. You know how I know?" So that's pretty much, my dissertation. Guys, don't be scared. There's no such thing as the angel of death. If you believe that, you might as well believe in Santa Claus. You might as well believe in Pinocchio. You might as well. So, yeah, that shit's not real, bro. And, that's really messed up. I get it. There are, epidemics that happen, but that can happen anywhere. Like an outbreak constructed by somebody, to, what is it called? Thinning the herd. But there are innocent people getting hurt, that don't deserve a coronavirus. That's all I got to say. Killah, you still there? Hello?
Stuff comes from China. That's shit got.
Dang, why is somebody always messing with your internet whenever I'm talking to you? Hello? Well, that wraps up the show. The end.
All right, my bad.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're back.
Yep.
Sorry, the show's not over.
All right, go ahead.
Hello, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, it's just funny, man. Like, people have been using the Bible to manipulate minds for years and years. Everything you can say was somehow somebody manipulated somebody who was less learned or less read. And I think it's going to stop now with information, doing your due diligence by reading. And I mean, where does this all lead to anyway? I mean, say that you know how to pronounce every word in the Tanakh, or you're fluent. You can read the Torah backwards and forwards. Then what? I mean, like what's the point of all of that? Just so you can gloat over everybody else, or make yourself feel accomplished. Just it's just a text, man. And at the end of the day, the question is, are you a good person or not? That's all.
Right. Yep. Yeah. People don't get that shit.
Yeah. Oh man, you have so much Torah knowledge. Oh man, you make me feel so small. Read the Torah to me.
Niggas do shit. They look like a fucking nutcase.
Yep. Oh man, you're so learned. Oh man, you know how to use a Strong's Concordance dictionary. Oh man, you're so educated. Oh man, what is this Strong's Concordance number? Oh man, you brought me enlightenment. Oh man, this is gonna be great when I work for minimum wage, and I'm gonna apply this Torah to people. Like, come on, man. Like, dude, just be a good person, man, because that's all that it boils down to. What is all this mixing Talmud and all this bullshit for what? So you can get, huh?
People busted with that shit.
Yeah. So they can be like, I know more than you.
The angel of death. People busted. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, SO jigaboos and shit. Over there, they get the Torah knowledge.
Dude, I was actually thinking about those dudes the other day. Yeah. Hey guys, run. Run.
Yeah, right?
The longer you stay, the harder it's gonna be for you. Just run, man.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. I don't know, yo. I see Negi Rich is gone.
Negi who?
Negi must be in suspension. Negi used to have a rank on the channel.
Wait, can you repeat that? You said he had what?
Negi was on doing live stream in the chat, but he didn't have a wrench.
He didn't have a wrench?
Yeah. Negi had a wrench.
Oh, you mean for the moderator?
Yeah.
Now he don't have a wrench no more?
Got a wrench no more.
Oh man, he took away his privileges, man. Oh man. It's kind of like the RFID chip. Like when you have it, and they'll just take away your wrench in the RFID chip. You won't be able to buy, and you won't be able to sell. Damn it! Oh, what are you gonna do? I know. Go on YouTube and say, "I'm dying of starvation, guys. My chip got deactivated. I'm dying of starvation, guys. Hell,
that shit was crazy. Did you see it, the video? Did it have a chat in the video when you saw it?
No,
I saw it. There was no chat.
I didn't even watch that crap.
It was like he was talking. It was like he was talking to himself.
Dude, it's a scam. Yeah, man. So yeah, man, like, you know, this is an interesting phenomenon we're in with technology and indoctrination. Like, I never realized the extent of how you can literally start a cult using a cell phone. You don't have to pay for any overhead. You don't have to pay any light bills. You do have to have internet connection, but I mean, you can get an Obama phone. Internet is available to everybody. But yeah, you just be careful out there, you know. Just if you don't do the thinking for yourself, somebody's gonna do it for you. And when they do it for you, they will use you.
Yep.
They will use you. You think that one guy likes the idea that other people actually read? He doesn't want anybody else to read. Yeah. He just wants to do all the reading.
Yep.
And he'll tell you what that word means. He'll tell you.
Yep. And you just listen to him. So you don't have to look up all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're looking at it like a crash course. You call that shit? What you call that shit, right? Crash course. Oh, looking for a crash course. Damn shame, yo. That's fucked up. God damn.
You know, I watched the documentary about Jim Jones, and that was it was mind blowing. Like the way he was able to stir people up, large crowds of people, based on mediocre knowledge of the Bible, just mediocre knowledge. But it's all about charisma and presentation.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Hey, SOJ, don't say we didn't warn you.
Yeah, right.
Don't say we didn't warn you, guys. Get out while you still can. Or just this, huh?
Josh Lester was 7 years.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't want to be blessed that way.
7 years. You got 7 years of Judaism.
Dude, I remember one of the guys from SOJ. They were like trying to decipher the words from left to right.
Yep.
This was hilarious, dude. One of the guys, they were trying to decipher so-called Hebrew word, let me say Phoenician word, from left to right. And then I noticed it, and I was like, what are you doing? That's not even a real word. You can't study that way. But guess what? The teacher was just falling back, not saying nothing. Like you setting people up to fail. Like at least take the time to be like, look, bro, don't do it like that. Do it like this. And then you finding false definitions for words, like the word Enoch. I think the brother Z said, "Oh, Enoch means to hang yourself." I'm like, what? The word, hey, Enoch means to hang yourself. I was like, what?
Yup.
This is the type of bullshit. And then look, I try to be gentle. I try to be like, look, bro, that doesn't sound right. Like I didn't like talk shit. I was not like, you idiot. You know, that's because that's not the way I like to communicate with people. I did a gentle, like, diplomatic way of communicating. Like, look, guys, first of all, that can't be the definition of Enoch. Like, where are you getting that from? And then guess what? They accidentally found that definition from writing Enoch the wrong way, which is from left to right instead of right to left. And I'm like, okay, what about the master teacher? How come he's not stepping in and helping out? Oh no, that's because he actually encourages people to get it wrong. You know, it's funny. I've actually been around CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, and I've seen a lot of bad CEOs and good CEOs. I've seen a good CEO who wants to surround himself with A players. Like you would see a successful company if the CEO was a B player and he surrounded himself with A players. And then you have the CEOs that are C players that don't want to surround themselves with other C players, that want to surround themselves with F players and D players. And that's what we have here. It's a school, right? If you think about it, technically, yeah, you can teach for free. Kind of like what we're doing now. We're just having a conversation. Some people are learning, some people are not. What I'm saying could be not intelligent in the eye of the beholder. I don't know. But what I'm saying is there are definitely A players and there are F players and everything in between. Now, me, for example, if I was a C player, I wouldn't want to surround myself with D players and F players. I want to surround myself with A players and B players. And that will motivate me to become a B player and eventually an A player. So, a person who wants to have a strong hold on people's lives and rule over them and not be sincere, they want to surround themselves with F players and D players. And then disparage them to keep them F players and D players. And then teach them bullshit like Angel of Death. Play a game. Let's play a game. Show me where the Angel of Death is in the Torah. You still there? Hey, Killah, you still there? Oh, why did you get your why did you get that the shield with the 9 back? Did you get tired of being Witchfighter General? No, I guess I'm talking to myself. And the internet and the world. All right, well, I guess That's it. I'm going to go ahead and sign off and have a nice night. Take care.